Let's talk about the machine, Merab. Non-stop. I mean, after his fight, I saw a video. He was in the club dancing, shadow boxing, kicking. We need to protect him at all costs. We need to protect this man at all costs. I said that if you find out your wife's been cheating on you for the last 5 years, Merab can come into your life and change your whole day. He'll bring great energy and put a big ass smile on your face.
It's unfair, DJ. It's I've never felt more angry for an opponent than when they fight Merab. I'm furious. So I'm like, what? I swear, I was thinking maybe the CIA would be waiting for Merab outside the arena with a big net because they got to test him with it. You know what I mean? They got to find out what's making this guy go. Because every human being needs some of that, I swear. Because they need to really understand, like, this guy is built in the endurance that he has.
Yeah.
You know, you saw this with other fights even on the same card. You see a couple failed takedowns from him or a couple takedowns that don't achieve much. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, you know, you see the difference in them. Morab fails 5, gets 5, big pickup slams that don't achieve the back take or mount or anything. And Cory's right back up. And then he gets separated and he's rattling his teeth around, bobbling around like this. And it's just, and you know what's crazy about the Morab fight? I don't know if you felt this after round 1. I was like, oh my God, Cory's figuring him out. Round 1 was maybe the best way you can fight Merab other than finishing him. Cory shut down the takedowns. I think he got taken down for a second, popped right back up, stinging him with shots, the low kicks. I was like, oh my God, he's getting off investment shots. This is good. If there's any way you might be able to slow down Merab, it might be chewing up that leg or finding the body. And then for Merab to come back in round 2 and think, oh, you think you got me figured out because you stuffed a couple takedowns? Put hands on him. Cory's nearly finished it. I thought he was done.
I did too. Damn. Oh, shit. Oh, go, Rob. Oh, Rob, you bad motherfucker. Georgia balls, big balls.
And I think that changed the energy of the whole fight. Round 2 was like, Cory thought, you know, if I just stuff the takedowns, I'm going to have a field day on the feet. And then he stuffed the takedowns, had a bit of a field day. And then it was a nightmare because Merab's nearly put him on skates, nearly finished him. And I think that just completely changed his momentum because now he's partially wobbled. And Merab, I think he took him down like 3 times after that. Big dunks. It just disorientates you as a fighter. Like it takes you out of the status quo of a fight, you know, that you've trained for, that you've been on the feet for in sparring. It's just like all of a sudden you've been in a car accident. Merab's chucked you around 3 times. It might not have done crazy damage, but now you're all over the place.
Yeah.
You know? Merab, crazy.
And I also think that when Cory, that first round, as he did defend the takedown, and then at some points, he didn't always create a bigger void. He stayed on him and started doing a little pot shot. Just little things, like you said, little investments, okay, to the body, just to show Merab, like, hey, I'm not going to be as easy to take down. And I was actually impressed how he was fighting, you know, Merab's hands and breaking the takedowns. And then I think Merab is so fucking good that he is willing to strike. Right, like when he fought Marlon Moraes and he got dropped, but he still stayed up on the feet and still struck with him. Same with the Henry Cejudo. Henry Cejudo rocked him. He still stayed on the feet. But then the second round, he kept going backwards. And I think Cory, their team, you heard in the round, between the rounds, the corner says, don't use all your energy. Don't go 100%. Because I think their strategy was like, hey, we're going to go the first 2 rounds, just defend a takedown. And then when it comes to 3rd, 4th, 5th, Merab shouldn't be as in good condition. He shouldn't be at 100%, right? If he was human. But that's what I think the strategy was. But when they had that strategy, I think it left it open for them. So focus on the takedown defense that Cory just kept going backwards, and Merab was able to land those fucking shots that I thought Merab I thought Merab was going to knock him out. I was like, he's finished him. He's finished him. Yeah. And then once Merab hurt him, and then we're right back to the takedowns. Like Merab is so focused. He can fail 100 takedowns. He's going to try another more 100 takedowns. He doesn't get discouraged, where a lot of athletes, even myself, when I fight Henry Cejudo and I couldn't take it down the second time, I tried taking it out and I was like, It's not going to happen. I neglected my takedowns against Henry, where Merab stays the path. He will not stop. Like, I'll never forget when Henry's about to fight Aljamain Sterling. He goes, what do you think about it? I was like, I'm not worried about Aljo. I'll be more worried about fucking Merab. Merab's a way harder fight because he doesn't stop. And then how he got the back and kept kicking out Cory's legs over and over and over. I think Merab, as long as he stays healthy, he will break my 11 consecutive title defenses. Even though he's only at 4, I truly believe there's no... Mario Batista isn't going to be able to handle him. Umar Nurmagomedov, maybe. But does he have that cardio? Does he have that wrestling ability? And then there's nothing... I think Merab is on the way to being the... I think he is the greatest bantamweight of all time when it comes to as a champion. Like, nobody's been able to do what he's been able to do to anybody in that division.
Yeah, it's just it's this unrelenting pressure. I actually feel like Cory had some good. I actually thought Cory won the 4th round, which was wild. Like, because he landed some. There was some
good
moments
shots
where Cory was proper stinging him with some good 2s.
Yep.
Like spinning his head, and I'm like, dude, he's landing the shots that should do something for him.
Yep.
These should be causing swelling. An eye should be swelling shut. That's what I think Cory's team wanted. Is like, okay, if we pepper him enough, we're going to get a broken nose out of him. We're going to get a cut eye. I know when Cory Sandhagen was hitting Marlon Moraes, he broke his orbital with a kick or something, right? So I think they were hoping, okay, let's wound him.
Yeah.
And then we've got a wounded Merab. But Morab just keeps going, jolting his jaw around in front of you. And it's even like he'll throw like a lead side kick to the head.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're like, oh, you're just adding some other weird shit into what you're doing. Like, this is too much to deal with here. And Cory, I thought, it's so sad because I was furious because Cory's doing so well. He's stuffing takedowns. He's back up. He's separating the hands. He's getting the underhook. He's separating safely. He's even like scrambling well when they do end up on the ground and ending up back on his feet and pot shotting very well, but it's just not enough. It's never enough to beat Merab, the bantamweight GOAT.
But I will say this. The one thing that Cory did not do that he does in all his other fights is he never rolled. He rolled to the legs one time. And that was, I think it was maybe the 4th or 5th round. He rolled to the legs. Merab ran away and it went back to the feet. When he fought Umar Nurmagomedov, he rolled a lot more. He created more of a scramble where each time Merab got his back, push him against the cage, and just kneed his thigh. He was so fixated on just fighting the hands. When Merab gets that S grip, the S grip has all this to break. When you have this grip, it's easier to break, but this S grip is very hard to break. If I roll to his legs, Merab has a choice. He either has to let go of the S grip and start defending the legs, or Merab hangs on to the S grip and now his legs are compromised. That's one thing that when I was studying video to do my final predictions, that's one thing I saw with Cory is like he's going to roll after Merab's legs and create a scramble so it comes to the feet. But instead, there's maybe one scramble. Each time Merab took him down, he crawled himself up to the cage, fought the hands. Merab can do that all fucking day, right? But when you take it down, you create a grammy roll or a scramble, you roll to legs, start attacking heel hooks, start doing that stuff. You start to, even when I grappled with Merab and we weren't fighting, he would take me down. I go underneath him where he has to catch his balance and start protecting his legs. But we didn't put all that in the mighty journey. But that's one thing I thought Cory Sandhagen was going to do. But he was so gung-ho on just breaking the grips, hand fighting. Once we separate, turn around, jump on him, which I thought that was a good idea. Merab would move, go lateral, get off the cage, and reestablish that void, and then strike, takedown. So, yeah.
Merab's he's going to be the GOAT.
Yep.
Bantamweight GOAT for sure. It's going to take a super fight to stop him. It's going to take, because I know he said he respects Volkanovski, so he's not going to move up.
Yeah.
But it's going to take like him running into someone who can physicality with him, because, you mentioned Sandhagen not rolling for the legs. I think, Chimaev's like this as well. You think, I'll just do something different in the grappling. We were talking about this on the pod in person. And I think Sandhagen realized this guy's strong, man.
Yep.
He's real strong. He's real sturdy. And he's also like a stocky guy for the division. So it is hard for a lanky guy like Sandhagen to get under him without ending up on his head upside down, which I think did happen at one point, which is what you were talking about, where he sort of ended up sort of upside down on Merab, and then Merab's hitting him. And maybe once Merab hurt him on the feet, Cory was like, okay, let me not end up on bottom because he does have some heat in his hands. You know what I mean? But I agree. Maybe there's some adjustments. I think, but that's the thing. I think Cory did a good job, but it just still isn't enough. Morab keeps pushing. Merab keeps rolling on. And for the rest of the division, who's going to beat him? I don't see Jan doing it because I don't think Jan's got, I mean, based on the first fight, that was almost the worst performance against Merab. I mean, because it's just too much volume.
And I think Merab is just way too much as a physical presence that, you know, you look what Aljo was able to do to Peter Yan. Look what, and then the first time Peter Yan and Merab fought, you know, I might potentially be able to see Peter Yan in Japan in November. So maybe I might get a chance to, you know, move around with him. But I just don't think I think Peter Yan has the striking ability, like good hands, get him nice and tight, drop something down the middle. But I think Merab's too good with the distance. And I think Merab, once he gets his hands on him, it's just not going to be pretty.
Yeah. And I also think that Merab was more of an incomplete version of himself when he fought Yan compared to what he is now. Whereas Yan, I think, is still Yan. Like, he's maybe added a couple tricks, but the ways that he's added tricks are like with his takedowns. And I'm thinking, that's not the answer here. You know, the answer isn't to add mixing takedowns to your game in order to overcome Merab. Whereas Merab's added striking into his game and some more heat in his hands. And I think that will really aid him against Yan. Yan's good, though, because he's vicious. He can cut. He can swell. He causes damage. So that's where maybe something could happen with Merab. He hits a lot harder than Cory Sandhagen also for Yan. But you're right. I don't see a guy in the division who's got it. You know, I really don't. With Umar Nurmagomedov, there's maybe a recipe there for some success. But I think, again, Merab has shown... Merab 2 fights ago was not the striking level that he's at now. You know, you're on the feet with Sandhagen and you're putting heat on him. I'd never would have guessed that would ever happen for Merab when he was fighting Aldo, when he was fighting Yan, when he even first fought Umar. He kind of fought Umar and beat him with just the rear body hook. He kept throwing the rear right hand to the body, but now if he's throwing heat upstairs on top of the pressure and the volume and the grappling, it's going to be tricky to beat.
And I think I was talking to Joe Rogan this morning and I said, dude, I think the only person who has potentially a chance to even give Merab a hard fight is Umar. And the only reason I say it's because Umar has that wrestling background, the will, the coaching towards, okay, you know, him, Habib, Islam, the whole team, they sit down and they're like, okay, let's look at the first fight. Let's see where we were successful and where we came up short, right? Okay, the gas tank. We got to make sure we address that, right? But when it comes to the grappling exchange, when you guys are grappling and going for the takedowns, that's where I think that X factor is. Okay, now Merab's got hands. Okay, well, maybe we can draw him into a shootout and we can catch him. I feel he has the IQ, the coaching, the training to be able to match a guy like Merab. I don't think Mario Batista has it. Obviously Mario Batista and Umar Nurmagomedov have to fight next, so we'll see how that fight goes. But I think Umar's the only person that can give Merab a fit. Other than that, I don't see anybody. Sonyo Dong, you know, he's potentially going to be fighting Sean O'Malley next. I don't know who is left in the bantamweight division. Patchy Mix, he's 0-2. Even though they train together, you know, I just don't see anybody beating Merab anytime soon. Anybody.
It's going to take a super fight, and I think that's where we're headed with Merab. Even though he said he respects Volk, and he doesn't want to fight him, he did mention he'd be open to 45.
I don't think he will because his buddy Aljo's there, and I think he doesn't, you know, they have such a great friendship, bromance, whatever you want to call it, that if he was to go up there and do a super fight and he becomes a champion, then it's like, I'm taking a little bit thunder away from my boy Aljo because Aljo's right there. You look at 145, Aljo had a great performance against Brian Ortega, right? You got Lerone Murphy, who's about to fight Alex Volkanovski. Alex Volkanovski is older, right? So if Lerone Murphy beats Alex Volkanovski, then Volkanovski's out of the picture. Now you have Lerone Murphy, you have Diego Lopez, John Silva just lost against Diego Lopez. You have Aljamain Sterling is right there. So I think
Evloev's still number one in the division as well.
He ain't never gonna fucking fight again. Come on, boys. That man, he's never gonna fight again.
Who knows? We'll see him in 2 years.
Exactly, right? So you have a storyline that I feel Merab doesn't need to go up. I think his presence, his fame is just going to keep on rising. So I think he's a good spot where he doesn't need to go to 145. If Aljo retired, is like, okay, I'm done, I don't want to do anymore. Then Merab's like, okay, he's not there. I'll hold both belts. I want to be active 135 and I'll do 145. But I think as long as Aljo's there, I don't think we'll see a super fight. But I've been wrong before. I've been